and I'm going to share with you, beautiful souls of Mohanji, how I first met him. But before I start, I would like us all to just really get quiet within, call in the beautiful consciousness of our beloved Mohanji and the Nath Gurus. And let us just identify with who we really are inside, that spiritual part of us that is beyond body, mind. Let us just breathe quietly, connecting to that beautiful consciousness of beingness, being all beingness. Mohanji comes in a beautiful body, but he is not that body. He is pure consciousness, as we are. We can only meet Mohanji in spirit, as ourselves. When I first met Mohanji, I was standing outside a yoga conference. Nitesh and Moni had sponsored him to come here, and he attended a yoga conference where there were many people. And as I was waiting to go in the door, a beautiful Indian man walked up to me. And I said, "You must be Mohanji," because he was the only Indian there. And it was Mohanji. I looked into his beautiful black eyes, and I knew him so well. And we had some beautiful words together, just like we'd always known each other. I was talking to somebody, instead of putting him on a high pedestal, he was like my dear friend. We were just rapping before we even went into the yoga conference. And then, as I was waiting for my turn, Shaktipat, which he was giving, I got to know more who Mohanji was. My first meeting with Mohanji, where I really got him deeply. And you can only know him, and you can only meet him that way, is after I got the Shaktipat, went home, and I thought, who is this man? He is not just one little body. There are many masters coming through him. I saw Nityananda, I saw Babaji, I saw all the SF Guru, I saw all these beings coming through him. And I was beginning to meet Mohanji, who he really is. I was fortunate enough to then go to a retreat with Mohanji that he was doing here in Sedona. And I'm going to only tell you how I really met Mohanji, not the outer Mohanji, but the inner Mohanji. I was the first one of the group to have a private conference with him. I was so excited. I have sponsored many, many saints, Karunamayi, Vishwananda, to come to Sedona. I have been with many masters since I was 22. I'm now 80. My whole life has been masters. My whole life has been with these great ones. And when I went into my conference, I was so excited because I felt Mohanji had come for me. And he said to me, one of the first things he said, I have come for you. I knew it. I've made tremendous progress on this path. I have worked very hard. I have been in India living with my masters, Papa Ramdas, 6 months just doing meditation, Arunachala, a year just doing meditation, 8 years of solitude, just going for it. I've worked very hard for God realization. And I would not even be doing this work if it were not for the cheerleaders of the masters that I have met and that have been cheering me along all the way. So in that conference with Mohanji, I could just talk to him like a child, like he was my very best friend, my father. And I knew he was my finishing guru. He said to me, you have very little karma left. I was glad to hear that. I've worked very hard releasing karmas. This path is not easy. You have to bring everything up, attachments, aversions, all the past life things you never got through in forgiveness, attachments, aversions. So when he said I had very little karma left, I was so relieved. So I gave him total permission to release any karma that I had left, for he was my next finishing guru, finishing school guru. How I met Mohanji. Doing that retreat, I'm telling you how I met him deeply and how I knew who he was, because I can only know who he is if I know who I am. When he gave me Shaktipat, I fell on the ground. Nobody was there but behind me. I bumped my head. I missed a chair by 3 inches. There was no way I could stop that fall. I hit hard, and the whole class was very worried about me. But what I had seen, even though I hit hard and I didn't really get to go into bliss because it was a shock to my body, I saw that the Nath Gurus coming through him, and there were many great ones, they had broken the fall, so I didn't kill myself as I went down that hard floor. Okay, meeting Mohanji. All the great ones came through him to knock me over. There's no way I could stop that. The next huge thing that happened in the retreat, we went out to Buddha Beach. It's a beautiful place by the stream here in Sedona. The whole class went with Mohanji. And I was sitting up against a tree. And I looked into our beautiful Oak Creek and I saw these vines growing, coming out of them. All of a sudden, I went into Krishna's lifetime. I was leaning against the tree, but I was hearing Krishna's flute. I was going into that lifetime. Oh my God. It was so beautiful. I was beginning to understand that who is this Mohanji? I am meeting him on a deep level, and now it's Krishna. And now I'm with Krishna. So as I was coming out from Buddha Beach, and we walked to a beautiful place where we were sharing, Mohanji and I were embracing, and I'll show a picture of just right after that experience. I said to him, I told him my experience. And Mohanji never takes any credit for anything. I knew it was he who gave me that experience, but he said, you raised your vibration so you could have that experience, never taking any responsibility for giving it to me. After I got Kriya, I got the Kriya initiation at the end of the class. That night after the Kriya, I couldn't stop doing it. You're supposed to do it for 10 minutes, right? But something had happened where Mohanji took hold of me, and I was doing it all night with Mohanji, going beyond all the rules, which I always do. It wasn't a 10-minute thing. It was an all-night thing of getting the experience of the transmission of him, the Mohanji, and his hugeness of spirit. So that was the first experience I had with Mohanji in that retreat and in Sedona. But I really got to know him better as I did my practice, as I did my Kriya, as I prayed to him. And the first experience I had on Zoom with him, I was like a little child. I was so excited to see him. It was like my father, my real father, coming home. And there was a group of people in my living room. And when Mohanji saw me, I was asking him a question. The question was, Mohanji, is the time of God realization predestined? And he said to me, Thea, I love you so much. Okay, that did it. I went into a trance. I didn't even hear what he said about my question. He answered it. But the people told me later that he said he loved me 3 times. Once was enough. It just put me right out. This was getting to know Mohanji through my daily meditations, through everything I did. And then when I saw him in Virginia, I got to tell him my experience that I knew he was Dattatreya because I had seen him as Krishna. When he went to Mount Kailash, I went with him in a physical body. I ended up inside the mountain. Lord Shiva was there with many great light beings surrounding him. And I saw Mohanji merge with him. He was Shiva. Okay. He's Brahma. He's Vishnu. He's Shiva. And I started reliving my time with Krishna, with Rama. I lived those lifetimes 3D. I don't know why. I didn't try to do that. I guess only for me to see that he was Rama. He was Krishna. And then I knew he was Shiva because of my experience at Mount Kailash, where I'd went in my subtle body without going through all the hardships everybody else is going through, and seen Shiva merge with my Mohanji, merge with Shiva. So I met him at the airport in Virginia. We were walking arm in arm. That's always how I get the most. I just walk as my buddy, my father. I told him, I know who you are. You're Dattatreya, because I see you. I saw you as Rama. I saw you as Krishna. I saw you as Shiva. And I don't know Brahma, but I know he's in there. So you're Dattatreya. I didn't ask him, I told him, because by then I knew. This is how I met Mohanji. I got to see who he was. He didn't answer for a while, and then he said, it has been revealed to you So he confirmed what I knew. But seeing all these things is one thing. Merging with Mohanji and his full consciousness is another. That's when we get to know Mohanji. Mohanji is a finishing school. Even though he said, I have very little karma, I've never been through such intensity in my whole life, nor have I had such beautiful experiences. I told Mohanji, the other masters have given me a lot more bliss. He said, yes, I'm fire. And that fire is to finish up our karma. That's Shiva. That's dissolution of all ego, of all identity that is false, to come into the total oneness of who we are. This is meeting Mohanji. He told people in Virginia that Thea doesn't need a phone because Thea has me all the time. It's true. Whenever I get quiet, when I close my eyes, there is my Mohanji. But I don't need that anymore. I need him to take me all the way into the 360 vision. I've had the Sacred Heart. I've had the bliss. I can't keep it all the time until I'm totally, totally cleared out of all karma. But all of us that follow or have the great karma and privilege to meet this man, or I would say any great one, but this is a 3-in-1, a many-in-one. There are many, many masters that come through him. Before I met Mohanji, Babaji was in my third eye all the time. Whenever I got quiet, Babaji was there. And then I knew that Babaji handed me over to Mohanji. Then he was there in my third eye. And it's true. He's with me all the time. If I get quiet, if I call on him, he's right there. The master, the guru, is there to do his work. And we do our work. Without us doing the effort, without us willing to go through the karmas, the dissolution, the pain, to get to that pure state of where Mohanji, Dattatreya is, in that state of consciousness, where he knows he's one with every atom in the 360 vision. Until we get there, we have work to do, more purification, more surrender. And it's not just being with a physical guru, it's being with life, accepting everything, every mirror. Every time we react, it's a thing of the ego. So we get to trace it back. Okay, why am I reacting here? Do I want approval? Do I want to control? We can always track it back to ego and we can let it go. Everything is the guru. Every life experience, every mirroring is Mohanji. But when he takes you up and when you totally surrender your life to him, all we have to do is hold on to his feet no matter what, and have the strength and the courage to go through the purification, which he will put us through, I promise you, until we are totally empty. We're in that total consciousness. He's taken me into his consciousness quite a bit. It's way beyond the form. It's way beyond that beautiful, loving human being called Mohanji. It is your consciousness coming into you in that beautiful, beautiful oneness. Consciousness of who you are. beingness, being all beingness. I'm still going through the purification. I just had my 80th birthday. I've been on this path since I was 22, going for it. Sitting at the feet of the masters, living at Arunachala for a year, in solitude for 8 years. This is not an easy path. All this has been purification, going for it, bringing up the subconscious, being willing to go all the way until we're totally 100% clean. Then we get to know who Mohanji is. Then we get to know who we are. If you're with Mohanji, if you're his disciple, if you're an Acharya, you've pledged your life to him, hang on. You're in for a ride. For someone who had very little karma left, the last bits of karma have been really intense. I tracked it back to the Ramakrishna lifetime. We've all been together before anybody around Mohanji has been with him. We were the Bandavas, we were the Kardavas. We were living these 1,000 years of Rama and Krishna. We were there, and we're here now for his great mission. All Mohanji wants is for us to become him. No guru, no disciple. Just merging into the oneness of his consciousness, who is us. So this is my experience in knowing and how I met Mohanji. From a little man standing outside the yoga conference, talking to me, to the consciousness who has emerged within myself as consciousness of oneness, bliss, the Sacred Heart. I haven't gone into the 360 vision where I know I'm every atom, but I'm going to hold on to his feet to stabilize these states and to have that new experience of the 360 vision. I am holding on. I am not letting go. And I know none of you will either. It's the greatest gift to have a Mohanji come into our life. It takes strength and courage to go all the way, but I know you're all going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hang on until every little bit of karma has been released. I'm totally clean on the unconscious. Then I know that's my natural state, just being in these beautiful states I've been in at times. To master it, to keep it, to be in every dimension. I was in a boat on Lake Titicaca sitting next to Mohanji, and he always said, when Thea sits next to me, it becomes a satsang. It does. I only ask the highest questions. I asked him for my friend Ami, who is my dear sister, why don't you ever talk about ascension? And he said, because ascension means there's somewhere to go. When you're in every atom, there's nowhere to go. That's where he is. That's where he wants to take us. I bow down to all of you who have the strength and courage to go through to total purification on this path. We will all meet in the center of our hearts, in that state beyond mind, body identification into pure consciousness. I bow to all of you. I love you. And never give up. Hang on.